What's up my earthlings, and welcome back to my channel. It's Emily here, and today I'm going to share with you my recent dreamporting experience, how it's benefited me. It's now been 2 weeks after the experience. I wanted to share what I've learned, share what it's done for me, and details on how you can do it too. So before I do that, if you're new here, my name is Emily and I post videos every single Friday at 3 PM about spirituality, witchcraft, law of attraction, just good high vibe content. I've been sharing my spiritual journey for a while now, and after taking a rather large gap last year, I am now back to it, feeling like I'm ready once again and strong enough and grounded enough to return. So like I said, I recently carried out dreamporting with Raphael. It was an online experience because I do live here in the UK, and I think, to be honest with you, it was like 300 plus people in this Zoom chat. I don't know the exact numbers, but there was a lot of people who took part in this. And I actually personally found the advert on Facebook. I'm not really a Facebook person, however it did pop up on my Facebook and I was like, yes please, clicked on it, and it was donation based, so you could pay anywhere from £1 to £97 or dollars. So I think the conversion rate was a little bit different, so from $1 to $97 for your place on the experience, which I really appreciated because that meant you could kind of pay what you could afford rather than it being like stupid amounts of money. I say stupid amounts of money. I don't believe that anything that anyone charges is unjustified, especially in this service. However, obviously as someone who can't go out and spend £2,000-3,000 on a retreat in one go, it was nice to be able to do something like this and get a little bit of an experience. I actually first got introduced to Daniel's content through Mia Magic, who again I'll leave link down below. Her and Skylife did a collaboration with Daniel where they went to his house, a wizard's house, and did some work, and that was the first kind of time I'd ever really been introduced to him. So when I saw it pop up, it was reasonably priced. I was like, I know some of his work, and I've looked into it, why not, let's give it a go. So armed with my computer, I set up a nice little space in my meditation room, put my galaxy lights on, and was like unsure on what the hell was going to happen. So it was a 2-day retreat. It was 2 hours, so it was 2 hours on a Saturday and 2 hours on Sunday. For me that was 8 PM to 10 PM at night, so I did think it was kind of a really good time to do it. However, I did find out that when we were doing it, or kind of afterwards, the energy you got after day one, I kind of wish I'd waited and done it the recording version rather than doing it live, just because it did fill me with a lot of energy. It really pumped me up, and pumping me up, it meant I didn't go to bed until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Morning technically. So I feel like I'm talking too fast. Day one, what was I expecting? I wasn't really entirely sure what to expect. There wasn't much information online about what was going to happen. We spent the first, I'd say, 30 minutes to 45 minutes kind of understanding dreamporting, doing a little bit of like a group manifestation with some water. So we were all told to bring a glass of water. We had a glass of water on the side. Daniel, I keep saying Daniel put his intention in it, and then as you tasted it, it tasted slightly different. It had like a metallic-y taste to it. It was a bit stronger, which was just evidence that no matter when you're watching it, whether or not you are with that person live and you can feel their energy, as long as you are connected on the same vibration, it can, like the work that you do, like for instance distant healing, can just be everywhere. He didn't tell us what we were going to expect. He literally just said, have some water, I'm going to send some energy into it. We meditated, held our glass, received that energy, was open to that energy, and when you tasted it, you could personally, I could physically taste a difference. Put my details in the comments and found out I wasn't the only one that was experiencing that. So that kind of really made me confirm that just your intention alone can do so much in your life. Like just by having the right intention, being on the right vibe, and being open to receiving, things just come your way. They geared me up essentially. I did write a few notes down, so we did kind of like, as he was talking, write a few notes, but to be honest, it wasn't that much. I was too interested in spending time in the moment than trying to take down as many notes as possible, because I did know there was a recording. I'm not entirely sure if now, 2 weeks later, the recording is still available. However, if it is, I'm going to go back and study it this weekend. If it's not, then I fully accept that I will take the experience. Notes that I do have written down, which I do want to share with you, is literally the power of agreement can breed reality. And that was a huge kind of like brain opening moment. Like I've said, when I could taste the water, I could taste the difference. It was a reminder to me that everything that I put out is what gets returned to me. So if I have faith in something, that faith is only going to become my reality. So just before we started the meditation, so day one was very much, we're going to clear your body. We're going to clear through, we're going to get you on the right vibration, you're going to be ready for it. We're going to give you a little bit of the experience before going on to like a 2-hour meditation in day two. I actually think it was like an hour and 45 minutes, but the longer meditation, the actual dream porting itself. So we went through a clearing meditation, and just before we did that, we basically sat in our center, got ourselves grounded. So we did a grounding meditation, got ourselves grounded, and basically he was like, right, feel yes. Like, what does yes feel like in your body? And for me personally, yes was the same sign as my spirit guides. So when I sit in meditation and my spirit guides come through and I ask them to come close, I get a particular signal. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's personal to me. But I get a particular signal, and it's quite a physical signal, so I know it's there. And to me, to have that signal again, just kind of emphasize that trust that I have in my spirit guides, the trust that I have in myself. And then they asked me to, or he asked us to feel our no. And the no for me literally felt like I was going to throw up. Like I physically felt like I was going to be sick. And I was like, okay, that's a really obvious, like pungent no. Yeah, I know what that means. So we got our yes and our no. And the reason we got this was just that when we sit down and we go throughout our life, or also if opportunities and things arise that aren't on our greatest purpose, you can ask yourself, does this align with me? And if that aligns with you, then you can physically feel it. You get that yes, you get that no. Which is what I wrote down. I literally wrote down what my yes was and what my no was. And then we went into our meditation. So meditation itself, we went through different portals, asked different angels to come in to do different types of clearing. Now, I've never done a meditation with angel clearance before. If I've ever done kind of like a meditation, it's always been my spirit guides that have come in to kind of cleanse me and align me. When I do Reiki, again, that's a higher power. Although I am Reiki attuned, I've never done angel Reiki. So this was kind of like a little bit of an experience in that we were going through. Now, when I say it was a guided meditation, one thing that I did come up to my partner and say like straight away was it was way more intense than a guided meditation. So the techniques that Daniel uses involve music, beats, and so when you are, rather than basically meditating and hearing someone's voice, yes, you can hear his voice, but he doesn't necessarily talk that much, which was really helpful for me, because as I was in that trance, as I was in that meditative trance, I was taken away by the music, and the music was healing me. The different frequencies were healing me. So it kind of brought in loads of different elements of the fact that you can be in trance, you can be in like a higher beta brainwave, and also you can let physical music like 432 hertz music heal you and take you on a trip. So it was very much a clearing, cleansing. I felt very loved throughout the whole thing. I felt very warm, very held. I was kind of just wrapped up in a blanket and off I went. My headphones were a little bit uncomfortable, and as you can see by day two, which you can kind of see some clips as and when in this video, in day two I actually decided to do it in bed, just because being transported and going through a meditation with music, I felt very much in my head rather than in my body. A lot of times when I do meditation, I can feel myself solidly in my body. I'm grounding myself. But this meditation, because I was physically changing vibrations and physically going into a different realm, I was all in my head. Like my whole body was up, out through my crown chakra, and off I went. So I did decide on the second day to do it in bed, but after we'd gone through like all the healing, all the cleansing, we were asked for some advice. We were asked to kind of find out what it was, what's something that we can hold. We can meet someone in our current life on this plane, on the astral. We can go and visit a memory. What is it that I need to unblock right now? And I wasn't expecting what he came up and said. Not him personally, him as in the person I was speaking to in the astral. It was very interesting for me. It's something I knew deep down, but it wasn't something that I was prepared to face anytime soon. And as we came round, I journaled it, and I do think that it's only fair that I share it, because I'm sharing my spiritual journey. I've already put myself out on the internet. Why not do it anymore? So, trying to find where the pen starts. I have different pens and I never date my journals. So here you go. I'm repeatedly trying to justify why I tell X person who I met. I'm not going to tell their name. Gossip, and shockingly coming to the conclusion that as a child, the only way I got attention was through drama. That's how I communicated. and I seem to have brought this through to adulthood. This is not a trait I wish to continue. My blank person's trust and chosen family's trust is way more important. To my higher self, the need to share or gossip and validate my self-worth. I know the answer is to why I'm avoiding trying to do my purpose due to the lack of experience. I doubt I'd be able to serve in my presence yet. What I admire in others is their vulnerability about not knowing everything and their continued learning and constant consumption of knowledge. The more I read this, the more I'm like, yeah, should I be sharing this? But hey ho, here we are. Imagine what the unknown holds. God, my handwriting is so bad. I made a promise to myself this year that it would be full of adventure. A funeral for my 20s, but in fact this year should be a premiere trailer for my 30s. I'm here on a mission to learn and to experience and to grow. Tomorrow may not be promised. That was a bit of a... Reading that back has made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. But one of the things that did come through was the gossip element in my life. Why do I always create drama? Why am I always avoiding things? And to me, like I said, in that, drama for me is the way that I got attention as a kid. I had to shout the loudest, and when I shouted the loudest, I got what I wanted. So as an adult, the more drama that's in my life, the more validated I feel, yet that doesn't align with what I want to do. It doesn't align with wanting to share people, to help people, and to be aligned. I want to be here to experience the best life, to learn as much as possible for my soul, that I can then take that on. Like, I want to be able to tick this life off at the end and be like, hell yeah, I did it. So that was a bit of a realization, and it gave me, the clearance gave me such a motivation, like such a motivation to kind of smash things out, like stop running from things. So obviously when I went upstairs, it was 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, well, what work can I do? How can I better myself? What can I read? And I was like, whoa. So I did stay up for a bit, and I kind of decoded with my partner and kind of spoke with him and was like, this is what I've experienced, this is how I feel. I was very vulnerable with him, and then roll around to day 2, and I'm like, okay, what's next and what are we gonna do? So day 2, like I said, I stayed in my bedroom. It actually was so cozy. I had a nice lavender bath beforehand. I made my bed, I got in my pajamas, and I was like, I am going to float off into the world. However, day 2 was completely different to day 1. So the technique of meditation was the same. It was done through different types of music, sounds, and the odd occasional like guided meditation aspect of it. However, rather than clearing and cleansing and taking in healing that you can physically feel, you weren't even taking in cleansing. You were literally just going up, and it was like, increase your vibration, feel it, feel it, feel it. And it's a similar technique to Tony Robbins, that when I did go and see Tony Robbins, where in order to make yourself break a bad habit, you need to feel what it's going to be like if you continued that bad habit for ages. So I mentioned before in a previous video, Tony Robbins shared a story of he was helping a guy stop smoking. He told the guy to go and buy for like 400 cigarettes or something, told him to smoke one, then told him to smoke 2, and made him chain smoke until he physically couldn't do it anymore. And that's the way to kind of go rewire your brain and go, no, I don't want to do that anymore. Whereas we were using the same music we used the day before, that we knew had already cleared us. We knew we were open to acceptance, and we'd kind of cleared through that blockage that we'd had, and that blockage came up. So then what happens next? And you can literally feel yourself raising vibrations, raising, and then when you wake up, you're over the moon. I couldn't feel anything but being over the moon. I could tell I was on a high vibration. I could feel loved. I was happy. I didn't really know what to do afterwards. Whereas obviously I had issues to work through over day 1. Day 2 was kind of just like a, right, you are now in a completely different realm, accept it, you are that person. So I then went about my day or my evening as that person. And then for around about the week after, like a whole week after, I'd say I was still on that plane. Do I feel necessarily now that I am still on that vibration? No. I do feel like I've learnt my lesson. I do think everything I do changes my soul a little bit more, and I gain that experience bit by bit. However, if I had access to the recording again, or the music, for instance, we still have access to the music, I have listened to that music more and more and more. So now when I listen to those certain tracks, I feel that vibration. I remember that feeling. I remember that feeling of love, that accomplishment, that purpose that I had, that I could do, I can relate to. So it's quite interesting how I can now quickly go from A to B with a piece of music. And so now I'm finding myself, how have I put this into practice? Well, I'm finding myself playing these musics in meditation. I'll play those musics, I'll sing those songs in the car on my way to something that would make me feel slightly awkward. I remember that I can do it, and that is a huge step and a huge difference from where I was before I'd done this. I think, and one thing that I do continuously learn is your, like I said earlier, your faith, your belief in yourself and what you believe becomes your reality. And when you can believe in yourself and believe that, you know what, I can do this, I can be on this planet, I've got this purpose, I've got this drive, I'm supported, then you're going to be supported, you're going to succeed, because your whole entire body is vibrating on a higher frequency. So yeah, that was my experience of that was my experience of dreamporting. Daniel does do like a 8-week course. This was a teaser, like this is literally 4 hours, and in 4 hours I got enough to keep me going for like a week, and then teach me actionable steps to increase my mood and increase my vibration quickly, which I'm really thankful for. If I could afford it, I would happily go on to the 8-week course that he's got, because I do think there is the way this isn't a promo, okay, I paid for it with my own money, but the way and the techniques that he uses are backed with science. They're backed with science, and for me that is something that makes spirituality helpful. Yes, I believe in so many things that you can't see, that you can't explain, but I also believe in the things that can be backed by science, and when it's backed by science, boy, I am there. And like I said, if I could afford it, I would go and do it. If there was another round of this dreamporting, I would go and do it again, because I do think with like anything, practice makes perfect. The more you practice something, the more it becomes your reality. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit of a ramble. Like I said, I want to share my experience with you and my journey with you, and this is something that has helped me, has changed me. I found music now that I can really connect to, and it has kind of opened up a massive wormhole for me of spiritual music. Before, I was listening to like my everyday music, okay, my little emo self, and I was wondering why I'm sticking in the same patterns. Yet now I'm finding, and I'm physically going and listening to the words in music much more, because why would I want to listen to something that's subliminally telling me bad things? I don't. I want to be listening to things that are telling me I'm fucking wonderful, I can do this, I'm on this vibe, be positive, you're a badass bitch. And that is what I want to listen to, because that increases my mood, because subliminally I'm telling myself these things. So it's opened up that wormhole for me, and thank God Spotify exists. I never had Spotify before or after this, before this retreat happened. I'm now Spotify guru. I'm now on a wormhole to spiritual music. And what I do appreciate as well, slight little ramble, what I appreciate as well with spiritual music in general, it's probably a topic for a whole another day. What I appreciate the most out of that is how faith comes through in every type of spiritual music there is, whether or not that song is made by a Christian or a Muslim or someone who is just awakened, or a Buddhist, for instance. All that music has the same core. It doesn't matter what religion it comes from. When you listen to it and you kind of open up this can of worms, you can feel the faith and the strength and the spirit as a universal spirit throughout, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So anyway, enough rambling. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do want to do dreamporting, I'm going to leave his links down below. I don't know if he's doing another one anytime soon, however I will just leave his information down below just in case he does. Like I said, this wasn't sponsored, this was paid for with my own money, this was my own experience, and I'm opening up here online. So I hope you have a lovely afternoon, evening or morning wherever you are, and I will see you next Friday for another video. Bye guys.